Welcome. Today we're diving into something really elemental, something we see every day, water. But we're looking beyond just, well, drinking it.
Yes, we're exploring its deeper wisdom, how water, in a way, can be a guide for us.
A guide. How so?
Well, think about it. Water isn't just a substance. It embodies certain principles. Things like impermanence, adaptability, harmony. And these aren't just abstract ideas, they can genuinely help with finding balance in life. Health, abundance, inner peace. It connects to all of it.
That makes me think. How often do I personally resist change? Do I, fight the current? Or do I manage to flow? It's a good question to ask ourselves, isn't it?
It really is, and that's sort of our mission today in this deep dive, to uncover some of that timeless wisdom about water and see how relevant it still is for navigating our modern lives.
Okay, so water as a metaphor, where do we start with that? It feels like such a big idea.
Let's start with a simple image. A river. Picture it flowing. It meets rocks, doesn't it? Fallen logs, banks that shift.
Right, obstacles everywhere.
Exactly. But does it stop? No. It finds a way. It bends. It goes around, sometimes over. It adapts, but it remains water. Keeps its essence.
That adaptability. While staying true to itself, there's a lesson there, definitely.
A huge lesson.
Yeah.
And, it contrasts interestingly with other ideas.
Like what? I think I recall something about stability, like a rock.
Precisely. There's that famous image, isn't there? The solid rock, unmoved by the wind. It speaks to strength, to groundedness, which is important, score.
Stability has its place.
But water shows us the other side, the wisdom in yielding, in being flexible when life, like the wind, pushes against us. It's not about being rigid or brittle.
So it's about balance then, knowing when to stand firm like the rock and when to, flow like the water.
Beautifully put. It's discernment, recognizing when flexibility is the stronger, wiser path.
And how water handles resistance. You said it flows around, over, under.
It does. It doesn't usually try to smash through a boulder, does it? That would be futile, maybe. It finds the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
It's almost effortless in a way.
Effortless. That's interesting. Because facing challenges often feels like the opposite, like we have to push hard.
We often think we do, but water suggests another way. Maybe sometimes the best approach isn't brute force. Maybe it's pausing, observing, finding a more creative way through or around.
That really resonates. I can think of times I've just pushed and maybe flowing around would have been better. Less painful, too.
And that ties into this idea, this Buddhist understanding of dukkha, or suffering. A lot of our unease comes from clinging, right? Wanting things to stay the same when naturally everything changes.
Resisting the flow?
Exactly. Resisting reality in a way. So learning to be like water helps release that grip, that attachment to how things should be. It opens you up to what is and what could be.
Okay, can we make that more concrete? Like in a daily situation, say I hit a roadblock at work or with a personal goal.
All right. Let's say you're working on a project and suddenly a major obstacle appears. Funding cut maybe, or a key person leaves. The initial reaction might be, oh no, it's ruined. That's like hitting the rock head on.
Yeah, panic mode.
Right. But the water approach, it might be, okay, pause, breathe. What is the situation now? What resources do I have? Is there another angle? Maybe this obstacle reveals a different, perhaps even better, path I hadn't seen before.
So it's about not getting locked into that one specific outcome you imagined.
Precisely. It's remaining open, adaptable, resilient. That's where water's true strength lies, I think. Not in dominance, but in its ability to harmonize, to integrate with its surroundings.
Harmonize, I like that. It's not about conquering the landscape, but becoming part of it.
Yes, working with it. A profound lesson for navigating life, truly.
Okay, I'm starting to see water differently already. What about the lessons from, it's just watching water in nature. You mentioned rivers, but also small drops, even stones.
Nature is always teaching, isn't it? Think about that river again. Its journey from a tiny spring, carving canyons, reaching the sea, that takes immense time. Centuries, millennia sometimes.
Right. Not exactly an overnight success.
No. It's a powerful symbol of patience and persistence. Building anything worthwhile, health, relationships, maybe financial stability, it's gradual. It's the steady flow over time. We need that long view.
We really do. It's easy to forget in our, instant gratification world. And the dripping water, that feels so small compared to a river.
Small, yes, but incredibly powerful in its own way. That constant drip, 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 it can wear away stone eventually.
The power of consistency.
Exactly. It shows how small, regular actions add up. That daily meditation, even just 5 minutes, that little bit saved each week, Drinking enough water each day. They seem tiny, but consistently, they create massive change. It connects to the idea of karma, doesn't it? Every little action matters.
Every action having a consequence. Okay, and the stone. That seems like the ultimate opposite of water. Solid, unmoving.
It can represent those things in our lives that feel like that, can't it? Those big fears or limiting beliefs we hold, or circumstances that just seem stuck, impenetrable.
Yeah, my personal boulders.
But look how water deals with stone. Not by force, usually, but by persistent, gentle presence. It flows around. It slowly wears it down.
So the lesson isn't necessarily to smash the boulder.
Maybe not. Maybe it's to navigate around it with grace, to apply gentle, consistent effort, to find ways to soften its edges over time. Ask yourself, what are my stones, and how could I approach them like water rather than a hammer?
Gently and consistently. That requires a different kind of strength. This leads nicely into something you hinted at earlier, this idea that maybe this potential, this water-like quality, is already inside us.
Yes. What if it's not something you need to get, but something you need to access? We look outwards for solutions so often. But adaptability, resilience, flow, aren't these inherent human potentials? Like water is inherent to life itself.
So it's innate, like the Buddhist idea of Buddha nature, that potential within everyone.
That's a beautiful parallel, yes.
Yeah.
Like dormant spring within.
Yeah.
The capacity to adapt, to heal, to flow, to thrive. It's there. We just need to connect with it.
How do we tap into that inner water?
It starts with awareness, noticing, where do I feel rigid? Where am I resisting? Where does life feel stagnant for me? Just noticing without judgment.
Okay, self-observation, then what?
Then, practice letting go consciously. When you feel that tension, that resistance, visualize water flowing around it, softening. It means actively choosing flexibility over rigidity, curiosity over judgment, maybe faith over fear.
Choosing softness. That does take practice. It feels counterintuitive sometimes.
It can. Our habits are strong. Think about building, say, financial abundance. One way is to force, grasp, stress, maybe get quick results, but feel depleted.
Right. Been there.
The water way might be patience, adapting to market shifts, focusing on genuine value, on relationships, persisting steadily, trusting the process. It's less about forcing, more about cultivating, aligning with the natural flow.
A more sustainable approach, maybe? Less burnout.
Very possibly. So, how do we encourage this in daily life? You asked about practical things.
Yes. How do we actually cultivate this?
First, simple awareness. Spend time near water if you can, a river, a lake, the ocean, even a fountain. Just watch it. Observe its movement, its interaction with things. And let that prompt reflection. Where am I being rigid? Where could I be more fluid?
Just observing, like a meditation in itself.
It can be. Second, practice detachment. Gently. Not apathy, but detachment from fixed outcomes. When facing a challenge, remind yourself, be like water. Focus on the process, the effort you're making right now. Trust that consistent effort, like those drips, accumulates.
Trusting the process. That takes faith.
It does. And third, weave water into daily rituals, consciously. Drinking a glass of water mindfully in the morning, feel it nourishing you, a fresh start. A mindful shower, imagine stress washing away. Maybe even just visualizing flowing water for a few moments.
Anchoring the idea in simple, everyday acts. I like that. It makes it feel accessible.
Exactly. It connects the metaphor to the physical reality.
And speaking of physical reality, our bodies are, what, 60% water? That's a very direct link.
Absolutely fundamental. It's not just a statistic. It's the basis of our vitality. Think about how you feel when you're dehydrated.
Sluggish, headachy, can't think straight.
Right. Energy drops, focus blurs, even emotions can get frayed. It's like trying to run a car with no fuel. Neglecting hydration impacts everything.
And this connects to, well, basic self-care, doesn't it? Something emphasized in mindful traditions too.
Very much so. Taking care of the body, mindful eating, mindful drinking is seen as part of the path. Drinking water isn't just biological necessity. It can be an act of self-respect, of reverence for this vessel.
Reverence for the body. And you mentioned even mild dehydration affects us quite a bit.
Yes, research backs this up. Apparently, even being slightly dehydrated can impair concentration, make you feel more stressed, less productive. So staying hydrated isn't just about thirst, it's about supporting your mental clarity, your emotional balance.
It's an investment in your overall state.
A simple but powerful one. And that practice you mentioned, pausing before drinking, maybe feeling gratitude.
Yeah, it transforms it, doesn't it? From automatic to intentional. Sacred, almost.
It does. It deepens the connection. And then, if we zoom out, think about water's role in communities, ecosystems.
Oh, absolutely. Access to clean water.
Mm.
It's a huge global issue.
And from that perspective of interconnectedness, thinking about things like compassion, karu, ensuring everyone has access becomes vital. Conserving water, supporting clean water initiatives. It's part of contributing positively, isn't it?
It adds another layer of meaning to our relationship with water. Okay, now, what about the energetic side? Beyond the physical.
Water holds deep symbolic meaning across cultures, often linked to purification, renewal. Think of ritual washing, baptisms, offerings of water in temples.
Right, it feels cleansing.
There's an energetic quality associated with it. And it's not just ancient wisdom. Modern psychology talks about blue space therapy.
Blue space, like being near water.
Exactly. Oceans, lakes, rivers. Studies suggest just being near water can calm the nervous system. It lowers cortisol, eases anxiety. It's tangible.
Wow. So how can we work with that energy? You mentioned some gentle practices.
Simple things, like your morning wash as you splash water in your face, maybe set an intention for clarity, washing away any fuzziness, or an evening bath, consciously letting the warmth soothe you, releasing the day's tensions into the water.
Bringing intention again.
Yes, they become small acts of self-care, recalibrating your energy. And this cleansing idea, it extends inward too.
How so?
Think about forgiveness.
Yeah.
Holding on to resentment is like holding on to stagnant water inside. It blocks flow. Forgiveness for ourselves or others is like letting that water flow again. It cleanses emotionally.
Emotional cleansing, that's a powerful metaphor. Now, the mental dimension, finding stillness. That's the holy grail for many of us in this noisy world.
It feels like it, doesn't it? But water teaches us stillness isn't always about complete lack of motion. Think of a deep lake during a light rain,
Ripples on the surface.
but deep down, calm, undisturbed. Inner peace can be like that, finding that quiet depth within, even when life's surface is busy or chaotic.
And meditating by water can help find that depth.
It can be incredibly helpful just listening. The sound of a stream, waves, even rain. It's naturally soothing. You can sink your breath to it. Breathe in calm, breathe out tension. It helps quiet the mental chatter.
There's something primal about those sounds, isn't there?
There really is. And science is catching up. Listening to water sounds seems to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. It lowers heart rate, blood pressure. It's physically calming. Regular practice can actually help rewire the brain towards relaxation.
Amazing. You suggested a simple exercise for this.
Yes, find your water space real or virtual. Maybe a park fountain, a recording, a fish tank. Set aside just 5-10 minutes. Sit quietly. Focus gently on your breath and the water sounds. Let thoughts drift by like leaves on the water. After that, maybe just notice how you feel, any little insights.
A gentle pause. It sounds achievable, this mindful engagement. It builds resilience over time.
Subtly, yes. Mental agility, emotional balance. It grows with practice.
Yeah.
Like strengthening a muscle gently.
Okay. As we draw towards the end of this deep dive, let's bring it all together. This idea of embracing our water-like nature to unlock potential. You mentioned the paradox of stillness and movement.
Yes, that image is central, I think. The dynamic surface, the quiet depth. It mirrors our own lives, doesn't it? We need to act, engage, move in the world, but we also need that inner stillness, that core of peace. Finding that balance, that's key. Being flexible, yet rooted.
Which reminds me of that famous Bruce Lee quote, "Be like water." It's more than just martial arts, isn't it?
Much more. It's about that spiritual fluidity, adaptability over rigidity, graceful movement through life's challenges.
And the visualization you suggested helps cultivate that.
Gently, yes. Imagining water flowing around obstacles, then applying that feeling to a real challenge. How would water respond here? Not with force, perhaps, but with flow. Calm adaptability. Practicing that mentally can shift how we approach things physically and emotionally.
Rehearsing grace. I like that. And the ripple effect.
Ah, yes. The simple reminder that even small things matter. One drop sends ripples far across the pond. Our actions, our intentions, they spread outwards too. It's about interconnectedness.
Like karma again. Everything influences everything else.
In a way, yes. It encourages mindful action, knowing that even small acts of kindness, small positive choices, create beneficial ripples. Trusting that process.
Trusting the ripples. And finally, the idea of transformation. Water changing states.
Exactly. Liquid, vapor, ice. It transforms. Challenges in our lives, they can be transformative too, if we allow them. They aren't just obstacles. They can be catalysts for growth. Like water being distilled, that the impurities left behind, something pure emerges.
So viewing suffering, dukkha, not just as pain, but as a teacher, prompting growth.
That's a core perspective, yes. Leaning into discomfort sometimes, asking, what can I learn here? shifting from seeing challenges as failures to seeing them as opportunities for alchemy, for transformation.
Turning lead into gold, metaphorically.
Precisely. And perhaps the deepest secret, the ultimate point is, you are already water. Literally, yes, but also emotionally, spiritually. Recognizing that connection taps into that inherent potential we talked about.
Realizing our true nature, which is fluid, adaptable, resilient.
Yes, the power isn't external, it resides within. Embracing that is like coming home to yourself.
So living as water means flowing with change, resisting less.
Yes, and nourishing yourself and others like water sustains life. And taking time to reflect, to renew, maybe near water.
It sounds like a path towards harmony.
I believe so. Harmony within and harmony with the world around you. Success, happiness. Maybe they become less like things to chase and more like natural states of being that arise from this alignment.
This has been calming and really insightful. Just to gently recap, water teaches us about change, adaptability, resilience, persistence, interconnectedness, lessons for every part of life.
Beautifully summarized. And perhaps the invitation to listeners is simply to carry these thoughts gently. Drink your water mindfully today. If you pass by a stream or a fountain, maybe pause for just a moment. Let water's wisdom seep in. Remember your connection to it.
You're part of that flow. And maybe a final thought to leave with everyone. The journey continues, always unfolding. With every breath, every action, maybe we can ask, how can I be a little more like water today? Find your flow.